Hello everyone, myself Juveria Siddika, lecturer in zoology, MVS Government Degree College, Mahbub Nagar. Today in this session I am going to discuss about the waterborne diseases. I think this is a continuing part from that waterborne diseases or the topic from the health and hygiene. So in the last video I discussed about the waterborne diseases, one of the type of the waterborne disease like the cholera. Now in this session I am going to discuss about the typhoid, which is again the caused by the water infection or by the contamination of the water, which leads to the typhoid fever, which again caused by the Salmonella typhi, which we discuss. Now let us start. See, first of all, what we have to know about, before going to start about that, I just want to tell a little bit about that. What are the water infection, what are the contamination? See, contamination is nothing but it is a type of the it's the type of the impurities which enter into the water. So when the impurities are the impurities, it may be a two types. Again, the biological impurities are the physical impurities. If the physical factors like any chemical substances or any compound substances which may be enter into or which may be culprit the water or to make it into the contaminated, those are things are called as the contamination. Or any substances which cause the water to be the harmful to the health of organism, that is the contamination. Any substances, here the contamination is caused by the some living organism, so this is the category which come under into the biological contamination. The biological contamination is the process where the contamination of the water will be take place by the microorganism like the bacteria, viruses, or another type of the different type of microorganism. So this is a contamination category which come under into the biological. It is the contamination which will be take place by the bacteria or the viruses. So this is a biological contamination. Now I think people get some idea about that contamination. Contamination is nothing but the any substances which cause the which change the quality of the water, which change the quality or the nature of the water, that leads to the contamination. So if a persons who take or intake the such type of contamination waters, there may be a chance to get the infections. Those may be in the form of any diseases. Such type of diseases only called as the waterborne diseases, the diseases which is caused by the intake of contamination water. So this typhoid is also a one type of water contamination water, or we can consider into the food contamination disease. Why? Because the food which is made up of with again this contamination water, that may be a persons, if they take the such type of food, it is a chance to get the contamination or to get the infection from this impure water or the what we can say the contaminated or the polluted water. Now if you take the definition for the typhoid fever, what is the typhoid fever? Result of systematic infections caused by Salmonella typhi and clinically characterized by typical continuous fever for 3 to 4 weeks, relatively bradycardia with involvement of intestinal lymphoid tissues, reticuloendothelial system and the gallbladder. So typhoid fever is not a simple fever, it is a systematic infection. It is a group of like infections. Before a person is examined as a typhoid susceptible, before the susceptibility, before the infection, that person has to be suffer from the lot of 2 or 3 types of the diseases or the symptoms like the bradycardia, the slow heartbeat rate, or we can say like this the nausea or the reticuloendopathy and the gallbladder, the improper digestion, the person is not feeling hungry at the proper time, or there is a not willingness to eat anything. So these are all the symptoms which will be happens from the last 1 to 2 weeks or before the 3 weeks when a person susceptible for the infections of the typhoid. So typhoid is not a one or a single type of infection, it is a group of, it is a systematic, means in the body body of individual or the systems one by one, like the digestive system and the respiratory system and the immunity system, all the systems are going to be affected with such type of infection. So a typhoid fever is a group of infection. A typhoid fever is a systematic infection wherein the all the organs of the body of individuals are going to be affected. As a result, the person is examined as a fever. Such type of system, the such type of condition is called as a typhoid fever, and it is also commonly called as the enteric fever. Includes the both typhoid and the paratyphoid fever. See, if we talk about the typhoid, the another classification, or we can say the another type of the fever which is also come under to this type of infection, that is called as the paratyphoid. So whenever we are talking about the typhoid, we also have to know about the paratyphoid, which is also caused by the same, that is the Salmonella typhi, or the species belong to the Salmonella and maybe occur sporadically and the epidemically or the endemically, or the found only in the humans. It is seen only into the humans. See here, the basic transmission or the causative agent for the typhoid is by the transmission through the medium, and here the transmission is take place with the water is act as a medium. When the water is enter into the body of individual through the drinking or through the food processes, then the person is lead to the infection. So basically now it is a type of definition where we can say the typhoid is a fever where a person suffer from the a group of symptoms or a diseases, a systematic infection which will be seen into the digestive system or the gastrointestinal system, and a person's immunity system also affected. At the same time, the cardiology, or we can say that cardiovascular system is also affected. So one by one all the systems in the body become the weak, they are not working proper in condition. So this is a definition for the typhoid fever. And what is the epidemiological determinants? How can who are the determinants for the showing these types of disease or the symptoms? So first thing is that what are the agents, factors and host factors, environmental and the social factors, incubation period, mode of transmission. So basically here five main types of what we can say the key points are there which show the determinants for the epidemiological symptoms for the typhoid. First is the agent factor. What are the agents? Agents are nothing but the causative agents. What are the causative agents here? We are saying the typhoid is caused by the causative agents like the Salmonella typhi. The species belong to the Salmonella typhi or the Salmonella species. So these are the agents, these are the pathogens, or these are the parasites, or we can say these are the disease causing pathogens, disease causing agents, or the causative agents, maybe the bacteria or the viruses, so on, whatever the organism which cause the infections into the body of individuals. And then host factors. Who are the host? Here the host for the typhoid disease is the humans. Humans are the host for the typhoid disease. And what are the environmental and the social factor? Next, if we talk about the environmental and the social factor, environment means the unhealthy environment or the water which is again the contamination, and the social factors like the people activities, the human activities, maybe the activity, the improper activities of the fecal excreta the outside of the household or the near the water bodies. So these are maybe the social factors. And the incubation, how many days the symptoms will be appear into the individual, that is the incubation period. The tendency of the disease or the to appear the tendency of that salmonella, or we can say the pathogen, after the how many days it will be appear, after how many time duration it will be appear in the body of the individual, that is called as the incubation period. And then mode of the transmission, this is the one thing, that how can it will be mode, or how can it will be transmitted from the area, from the causative region to the effective region. Here the causative area in the sense that is the contaminated water or contaminated water body, contaminated area or the contaminated zone. And transmission, the area of effective is nothing but where it is showing its effect in the body of the human. So these are the one by one. Now I am going to explain here. The first is about the agent factors. What are the agent factor? Again, the host. Typhoid fever mainly caused by the bacterium. It is also a bacterial infection, like the cholera. Cholera is also caused by the Vibrio cholera, which is also a bacterium. This typhoid is also a bacterial infection named as a Salmonella typhi, and from the it belongs to the family that is the Enterobacteriaceae. It belongs to Enterobacteriaceae. Salmonella that is a paratyphoid which is caused by the paratyphoid, that is the species belong to the Salmonella para, and A and B are relatively infrequent. Salmonella typhi is a gram negative. Just in the last session also I discussed about what are the gram negative and the gram positive bacteria. So bacteria are majorly classified into the two types. One is a gram negative and another one is a gram positive. So this Salmonella typhi is also a gram negative bacteria. It shows the facultative aerobic non-spore forming bacteria that is motile due to the peritrichous flagella. See, flagella, if we talk about the types of the flagella, if one is then it is called as the monotrichous. One is there, then it is called as like monotrichous, and the flagella is two, then it is called as the bitrichous or ditrichous, and more than that it is called as the peritrichous. Peritrichous means it's surrounding outside. Suppose this is the body of bacteria. In all the surfaces in the peripheral region the trachea is present, then it is called as the peritrichous type of the flagellae, which are useful for the mobility. What is the major function of the flagellae? Flagellae are nothing but these are all the mobile. It show the mobility in the organism. It is useful for the movement from the one place to the another place, and these organisms are grow at best level at the 37 degrees centigrade. That is nothing but these 37 degrees centigrade is the temperature of humans. It is the temperature of the human body or the human individuals. Now if we see into the under the microscope, that is the pink color, there is a gram negative bacteria. Whatever the area which is showing this rod like small bead like structures, those are all the gram negative bacteria. And here see the flagellae, that is the peritrichous flagellae or the peritrichous flagellae. All the thread like structures, see these are the this and this one, which are also surrounded from the total body surface area. See, this is the one bacteria, and through the surrounding of the bacteria long flagellae are present, and these are all surrounding in the total surface. That's why it is called as the peritrichous flagellum. And the second one is about after the host, that is the reservoir of infection. Who are the reservoirs? Reservoirs are nothing but there is a store where the bacteria are stored in the body of individuals. Human is only the reservoir. Why? Because it affects only the human beings also. So here the reservoir for the infection of the typhoid is the human beings. And if we talk about the cases, what are the cases? Case is nothing but a case is infectious as long as bacilli appears in stools or urine. Case may be mixed, mild or severe. It may be like mild or the severe. Mild in the sense the normal, or in the severe in the sense so much dangerous in situation. Means the infection may be the more or the severe, or infection may be the less or not that much of affected. And what are the carriers? If we talk about the carriers are nothing but these are like the vectors or the vehicles to carry the pathogen. They are just carrying the pathogen. The work of the carriers is to receive from the one infected zone, and it has to carry to transfer into the another individuals. Temporarily incubatory excrete bacilli for 6 to 8 weeks. Those are the carriers. And chronic excrete bacilli for more than 1 year. Organism persist in the gallbladder where it is present present? It is present in the human being's gallbladder or the biliary tract, where from the bile juice will be released. So in the biliary tract or from the gallbladder, these organisms or the bacilli will be stored for the 1 year. So human beings are the carriers. They carry maybe for the 1 year without showing any particular type of the symptoms. If we talk about the example, typhoid Mary is the real name for the Mary Malone, who is the lady from where she see the cases of the 1300. From there the name of the typhoid fever will come, and she is cooked off at the time of the last previous years. And then what are the sources of infection? If we see the sources of infection for the typhoid fever, there may be the two sources. One is that they may be categorized into primary sources and the secondary sources. The primary sources are the feces and the urine of the cases and carriers. Who are the persons who act as the cases and who act as the carriers? Their fecal matter and the urine is the primary sources, and the fecal carriers are more frequently than the urinary carriers. The person who has the fecal carriers. Why? Because these are all bacteria will be present in the digestive tract. So the stool examination, whatever the stool samples are there, they consist a high amount of this infective bacteria. That's why the fecal carriers are more frequently than the urinary carriers. And the secondary sources, if we talk about the secondary sources are by the contamination. It will be contamination of the water, contamination of the food, contamination of the fingers. In the sense, what is the meaning of fingers is nothing but the contamination of the hands. If the persons are contaminated with this such type of water, so it is contaminated fingers and the contaminated flies. Flies are the small flies are the who depend on the human beings for the as a host, in the form of the host. And then see, this is the flow chart for how the process will be take place, how the contamination process will be, how the infection, or we can say the pathophysiology, the diseased, how the disease will be occur. First, what happens? See, in the first stage, that is the ingestion of contaminated food or water, which consists of again the Salmonella typhi. First, what happened? The water will be enter into by the process of ingestion. After the entering, the invade small intestine, they go and enter into small intestine and enter the blood stream, and then carried by white blood cells in the liver, spleen and bone marrow, which are the immune cells, and then it affects the immune system directly through the blood. It enters into the blood, and from the blood it enters into the immune system and start to die or start to kill the immune cells, and they become the multiply and rapidly. So they become the multiply into the blood cells. Bacteria invade the gallbladder and it invade the gallbladder. It affect on the gallbladder, biliary system and the lymphatic tissues and the ball and the multiply in the number. So likewise the bacteria number will be more and more, and it affects the one by one all the gastrointestinal system. At the same time it also affects the lymphatic system. That, as we know, the lymphatic system is a system which is very much important for the protection, or it is an immunity system. Then pass into the intestinal tract and can be identified for the diagnosis in the cultures from the stool tested in the laboratory. So this is the process how the infection will be take place. First, what happened, let me tell you in the simple way. First, the entry of the pathogen into the body of organism, then it entered into the bloodstream, then enter into the small intestine, then it affect the liver, spleen and the bone marrow, then it also flow in the bloodstream and become the multiple in number, and likewise one by one it trying to start the infection from the one to the another systems of the individuals. Likely it lastly it totally damage the internal system. So that's why it is called as the systematic infections. It is a disease where the systematic infections will be lead. And the second one is about the host factors. What are the host factors? How the host will be there and whom it will be affected. One thing, that is the age. Here the first concept of the host factor is about the age. That is the, it may be occur at any age. That is the highest incidence in the 5 to 19 years. The children who are in the 5 to 19 years, in that age group persons, the typhoid infection will be more. And sexes, that is the cases may be in the males than the more in the males than the females. So males are maybe susceptible more than the females. Carrier cases, the more in the females. The females are carriers which carry the infection maybe for the 1 year or the long year longs. And then immunity is another factor. Antibody may be the stimulated by the infection or the immunization. Antibody against the O antigen is higher in patient with the disease, and antibody against H antigen in the higher in immunized person. Salmonella typhi is an intracellular organism, so cell mediated immunity plays a major role in combating the infection. So it infect the immune system, then a person is automatically lead to the diseased factor. So if we talk about the host factor, what are the target host for the Salmonella typhi? The age group persons from 15 to 19, and the sexes, the males are more susceptible than the females. Immunity, the person who have the low immunity, that persons are susceptible for the infection from the typhoid. And the third one is about the environmental and the social factor. Just now I told about the what are the environmental factor, how the typhoid infection will be spread. See here, typhoid fever regarded as index of general sanitation. See, the main purpose for this infection is the sanitation. If improper sanitation is there, then there is a chance at the risk of high infection, high contamination without maintaining the proper sanitation, and then increase incidence in the July September, in the month of July, which is the again rainy season. So due to the rainy season, the water, it is a chance to water become the contamination in the month of July and September. As a result, the persons are get the infection by this typhoid fever. Outside the human body, bacilli found in, that is the 2 to 7 days but not multiply in the water, but soil irrigated with sewage, that is the 35 to 70 days in the within the 35 to 70 days. Ice and ice creams over a month, where it is present the bacilli over a month, it could be alive. And food, in the food it may be multiply and survive for sometimes. Milk grow rapidly without altering in its taste. So it does not change the taste of milk, but it is going to be rapidly improve. Why? Because the the milk consists of lactose, which is a good source for the energy for the bacteria. And vegetables, it is the grow in the sewage plants. In that vegetables also, the what we can say, the chance of risk of infection is more. Pollution of drinking water supplies, it is also a reason. Open area defecation, the person majorly if you see into the underdeveloped countries where the urination or the defecation will be seen in the open area, or in the villages, or the some villages in the rural areas, the people go outside, not they do not use the public places for the they do not use the what we can say, the bathrooms or the toilets, or they directly go and open defecation process will be held in the rural areas. That's why there is a chance of compensation, or there is a chance of occurring of this such type of infections. And the low personal hygiene, see, to avoid any type of disease, the first phenomena is that to maintain the self hygiene. We have to maintain our self hygiene. We have to maintain the good health at the same time. We have to maintain the self hygiene condition and health ignorance. And some people are health ignorant. Due to that purpose, they are not eating the good food, or they are not eating the nutritional food. As a result, also their immunity power will be less and getting a chance of this type of infection. So this is the some points regarding to the environmental and the social factors. And what is the incubation period? See, the incubation period for the typhoid, that is Salmonella typhi, it is usually about the 10 to 14 days, but it may be as short as 3 days or as long as 21 days, depending upon the dose of the bacilli ingested. How many amount or how much amount of bacilli will be ingested in the body of individuals, depend upon that only how many days it will taking to show their symptoms. That period is called as the incubation period. It is maybe less than for the 3 days or more than to the 21 days. And the mode of transmission, how the typhoid is transmitted in the body of individual, that is the process called as the mode of transmission. The mode of transmission, if we talk about the mode of transmission, the disease is transmitted by fecal-oral route. See here, fecal-oral route means a person who is affected from the typhoid, if he excrete his fecus at the outside, that fecus is go and enter into the water, and water become contamination, and contaminated water is drinking through the oral route. That's why this is the transmission phenomena like the fecal-oral route. Sorry. The transmission, it will be take place by the fecal-oral route or urine-oral route, or excretion of the urine into the water or any area where it become the contamination. The chance of getting the contamination of the water, that is the urine-oral route. These are the two ways how the transmission of this bacteria will be take place in the host body. It may be either directly or through the hand swallowed with feces or urine of feces or the carriers, or indirectly by the ingestion of contaminated water, milk, food, or through the flies. Contaminated ice creams and milk products are rich source of infection. This may be caused by, because whatever the ice creams are there, that ice is made up of with this water. See, if the water which used to make the ice creams is contaminated, so it is a direct way of getting such type of infections. And feces and the urine from the feces are carriers, and here it may be contamination will be take place into the water, soil, flies and fingers, and then it come to the contacts with the foods and the raw cooked. Another chance of getting the infection is that foods are the raw foods or the undercooked food, and then through the food it enters into the mouth of the person. Likewise, from the region of infection, this is the region of infection, from here it entering into the here through the mouth of the persons or the host. And what are the clinical features? Clinical features, how can one understand or how can one identify that so and so person is suffered from this type of waterborne infection or the typhoid? In the first week, what happened? What are the symptoms? That is the malaise and the malaise and the headache and the cough and sore throat. In the prodromal stage, the disease classically present with step ladder fashion, rise in temperature 40 to 41 over to 4 to 5 days, accompanied by headache, vague and the abdominal pain and constipation or pea soup diarrhea. It will be like the pea soup diarrhea. Diarrhea is nothing but compulsory the watery motion will be take place, and here it the diarrhea is in the form of the pea soup diarrhea, and the high temperature. The persons who are affected with this, in the first week of infection, the temperature will be rise, that is the 40 to 41. In the second week, it become the between the 7th to the 10th day. Between the 7th to the 10th day of illness, mild hepatosplenomegaly. Hepatosplenomegaly in the sense liver will be enlarged. Their liver will be enlarged. Splenomegaly means hepatosplenomegaly means liver become the large. It becomes swelling or the edema like structure in the liver. Third week, the patient will appear in the typhoid stage. In the third week, it is confirmed that person is affected with the typhoid, which is a state of prolonged apathy, toxemia, delirium, dystolerance, and coma. Lastly, it leads to the coma by the total loss from the body of individuals. Diarrhea will then become apparent. The left untreated by this time there is a high risk of intestinal hemorrhage and perforation. At this stage, what happened? The intestines become the perforated and blood spots are also start to secrete through the bowels and the hemorrhage of the intestine will be take place. What are the rare complications? Here also maybe the after when it gets the severity, the complications also seen. The complications like hepatitis, pneumonia, thrombohepatitis and myocarditis, that is the cholecystitis, nephritis, osteomyelitis and the psychosis. These are the complications which will be happens if the severe typhoid situation will be there. Hepatitis, as we know, that is the hepatitis A, which is again the caused by infection of the water, and pneumonia, that is the lung problem. Thrombophlebitis, it is caused by the low amount of the blood platelets. Myocarditis, that is the low blood sugar, low heartbeat rate, and the cholecystitis, the improper digestion. So these are all the problems or the complication which happens after the infections. And see here, if you see the picture, you can see in this diagram the rose spots will be seen on the persons. The pink purple 2 to 3 mm on trunk, fade on pressure, disappears in 3 to 4 days. On the back or the body of the individuals, this type of red spots will be seen. And what are the sign and system symptoms? Rose spots are present, small rose spots are present on the body of individuals, body pains and aches are also there, high fever, the temperature will be high, typhoid meningitis in the brain, that is the meningitis in the sense the disease of the brain layers and the meninges, chest congestion and diarrhea. These are all the symptoms regarding to the typhoid. And general complication like the boils, like ulcer like structures which will be happens on the body surface, tonsils, the persons can't eat properly, they can't engulf properly, the tonsils glands will become enlarged, and dehydration, water will be disappear from the body. And if we take the test on the agar plate, the salmonella bacterial growth will can see on the petri dish, that is the by the stool examination of the person who are susceptible to the typhoid. And this test is called as the salmonella on the McConney agar. This is agar. On that agar plate, the dot like structures, these dot like structures are the typhoid, salmonella typhoid growth on the cultural of agar plate. And now what is the control measures for the typhoid fever? If we talk about again the control measures, it is controlled by only the one and best way, by maintaining the hygienic condition. The control is maybe the three types, that is the control of reservoirs, cases and the carriers. The reservoirs, who are the reservoir for this pathogen, who are the carriers of this pathogen, and these have to be controlled. They have to control over them, and then only the control over the typhoid will be possible. And the control of sanitation, just we are told in the last slide that the sanitation is very much important concept. Why? Because without maintaining hygiene, without maintaining cleanness, we can't overcome with the any type of polluted diseases. We have to maintain the hygienic condition, we have to maintain the proper sanitation condition. People do not go out for the open fecal defecation. And then last one is about the immunization, means the vaccination. Immunization is the process where the time to time children have to be vaccinated with this type of diseases to avoid from this type of the pathogen, to avoid this type of diseases which is caused by the pathogens. And what is the diet? A fluid diet will be very much important, as the water loss is there, diarrhea is there, so the body salt are also lost. To compensate the water loss, the person have to take electrolyte juices or electrolyte water, and they have to take fluid water, fluid components they have to take more in quantity. Fluids and electrolytes should be monitored and replace diligently. Oral nutrition with a soft digestible diet, soft food like idli, upma, they have to be suggest. And then oral nutrition like the ORS solutions or coconut water or any liquid material, that is the fruit juices, they have to be prefer. And then activities, what they have to do, no specific limitations for the activities. Rest is important thing. And but the person want to be move from here and there, if they can be, then they can, that could be in their manage. The patient should be encouraged to stay home and from the until recovery, they have to be take rest to for the best recovery. And lastly, I want to tell you one thing, that avoiding from any type of diseases is the best and the simple method is that washing your hands. Whenever you go outside, whenever you come in contact with any other person, first of all we have to go and wash our hand and clean our hand. Then it is the best way to avoid so many diseases. Simple hand hygiene and the washing can reduce several cases of the typhoid. Not only the typhoid, so many diseases which is caused by the bacterial infection, which is caused by the viral infection, that could be prevented by washing hands. That is the best and good method for avoiding all such type of polluted diseases, or the water polluted diseases, or from the air polluted diseases. So it is a good method or good practice, we can say, to wash our hands to avoid from the different types of the diseases. I think in this session you are get the total idea about the what is the typhoid, definition for typhoid, who are the carriers and what are the symptoms, what is the pathogeny rate, and who are the host, and what are the factors, environmental factors, soil factors, and what is the incubation period. It needs the 21 days of excrete incubation period. And how the modes of transmission, how could be it will be transmit from the area of infection to the normal person, and how the diagnosis will be take place. And lastly, what are the signs and symptoms and preventive measures. I think this is enough for this session. Thank you for listening.